TitleMatchNetwork.com.
Now, when you came in there, did they already kind of have the idea floating around about an nWo type of gimmick, or did?
See, and what happened so cool and happened by accident was Kev's contract expired a week after mine, just because that's the way he came in. It wasn't structured that way or anything. That's just the way it happened. So, which made it so cool for the angle down there.
Yeah.
Because I finished for Vince on a Sunday night in Madison Square Garden, and I was on Nitro the next day. And it was Larry Zbyszko's idea to have me come through the audience and interrupt a match that's in progress.
Wow.
And not hit the ring and beat the guys up. Just walk in and grab the mic like you would if, the boys know me. They ain't going to beat me up. They're not supposed to. They're having a match. I just grab the mic and go, hey, and I start talking. And they just stopped wrestling. And people were, what? And it was so cool, and it was all Zbyszko's idea, because Bischoff would have had me walk down the aisle. I came through the crowd, talked, did what Eric told me to do. Later, I told him I had a surprise for him next week. That's when Kev came. And the whole reason it worked was because people thought Vince sent us down there. People thought we still worked for Vince. That's why it worked.
Wow. Now, was Hogan originally going to be a part of the group, or how did that all come about?
Well, in Hulk's contract, he has creative control over his character. That means he doesn't have to do anything that he doesn't want to do, which is a cool thing to have. I didn't have it, but Hulk had it, and he deserved it. So we're at the Bash at the Beach in Daytona, and the show has already started. The pay-per-view's already started. Hulk is flying on a private jet from Cali to Daytona. So he's in the air. We can't get contact with him on the phone. We're not sure that he's going to do it because he's invested a lot of years into being a hero, being a good guy. We're not sure he wants to be a villain. He may not want to. But when he gets there, having seen the success that Kev and I are having coming in, Hulk's smart. And his career as a babyface was starting to decline a little bit then. And he recognized it, and he was smart enough to go, the only thing to do is turn. And it was the perfect time. And plus, see, we were New York guys, me and Kev. And we just, as far as the people knew, we worked for Vince.
Yeah.
And there's no more identifiable New York guy than Hulk. So it was like, holy, Vince sent those guys. We know Hulk and Vince from way back. Those fuckers are going to take over Atlanta. That was the storyline. And it was Eric's idea. And Hulk agreed to do it, and it was Kev's finish that we did that night, and it worked.
Do you think that the Horsemen took it too seriously when they got all upset about the skit you did?
Well, yes, particularly Arn, because Arn got real mad. He said, my wife told me you guys made me look like Otis the Town Drunk. Okay, the thing is, Kev got that cooler that he used for the prop out of Arn's rental car. He had Pee Wee, the referee who travels with Arn and Flair as their drinking buddy, get it out of the car. Arn is bitching in the hotel lobby bar, and I respect Arn, but this is the truth. He's in the bar bitching about it with a beer in each hand, because that's how we do it. Because by the time you get to the hotel bar after the show, it's going to close. So you got to order. She can't bring you beers fast enough, so you order two at a time. Because by the time she walks back, you've already pounded that one. So I just thought, it's a skit, man. It's a parody. It's a joke. Like, I don't know. But see, then again, maybe my feelings would have got hurt. I kind of doubt it. I mean, Bischoff had me. He said, I got an idea. What we're going to do is you're going to be drunk on TV, because, it was my personal life. So we're going to do it on TV. I said, Eric, I think it's in poor taste, but you're the boss, That's why, anytime Kev and I ever have a match, I always start.
Yeah.
Unless Kid's with us, then Kid starts. Then I start, then Kev, because you always feature the big guy. Because it's just it's the right thing to do, I think, because that's the way Kurt taught me.
Now that you bring it up, I remember every time when you would tag in Kevin Nash.
It'd be like, you want that, or we do the spot where I would put the guy over like crazy and then spit on him. I did it to Stevie Ray, Harlem Heat. Me and Kev are working with them, Halloween Havoc, and they're going to drop the straps to us. So me and Booker start, we have similar styles, we do some stuff, stack Stevie in, I let Stevie toss me around, boom, 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 do his big man stuff, and then I go and spit on him. And I don't tell him I'm going to do it because I'm afraid he'll beat me up. So I spit on him, and Stevie is a big bad, proud black man. And people don't spit on Stevie Ray. And he went, and the people went, whoa. And then I went, and reached back and tagged Kev.
Yeah.
And then I go, now you're going to get it. So Kev comes in, does some spots, and puts Stevie Ray over. And I've done that spot with a lot of guys. Stevie Ray was just so smart that after he boom, 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 bounced Kev around, he went over to me and went, I was standing on the apron. I didn't know it was coming.
Wow.
He went, he spit on me. Then I went, like I tried to come in, tripped on the rope, did the flare bump and a bun. And it was so cool. But I apologized to him afterwards. I said, Stevie, I just popped in my head, although I had planned it.
Yeah.
I said, Stevie, I said, please, it was just a work. I would never spit on you in real life. I respect you, because I don't want you to kill me.
Did it become frustrating to you, especially since it was your baby, when the NWO kept expanding and everybody was in the NWO?
Yes and no. See, part of the problem was Hulk only made TV and pay-per-views. Now, Kevin and I made every house show and TVs and pay-per-views. And we were under the impression that the NWO was going to be separate and that we were going to get the Saturday show. They used to have a Saturday show on TBS. We thought we were going to get the Saturday show and that was going to be NWO and that me and Kevin were going to get to run it with Hulk and learn some of that behind the scenes stuff and really make it cool, doing black and white. Like we used to do empty arena videos and crazy stuff. And we wanted to, because our idea was to make the fans decide, do you like NWO or do you like WCW? Instead of going, do you like WCW, do you like WWF? We were going to try to make the fans choose between really one brand, two brands, but one company. But really, part of that was our fault because the one thing about having more dudes in the NWOs, that means we didn't have to make every town. We didn't have to go to Little Rock and Sioux Falls and all that. We just went to the big towns and let the other dudes go to the other towns. But it did water it down.
You came back to the WWE, with Kevin and Hulk as the NWO. How did that whole thing come about? Who kind of pitched that?
Kev went to Connecticut and visited with Vince, and that's the way Kev does business. And of course, Vince and Hulk have had a long relationship. And one time I'm sitting at home, my phone rings, caller ID says Stamford, Connecticut. So I pick it up and he goes, ha, Mr. Mom, how you doing? So I said, who does such a good Vince impersonation? He goes, hey, bad guy, hey, how you doing? I said, I'm doing good, Vince. How are you? Great. I'll come to the point. I've been talking to Big Kev, and he's talking about coming back to work. I said, that's great, Vince. I said, Kev will do great for you, man. He's a big star. You'll make a lot of money with Kev. Well, I'm talking to the Hulkster too. I said, well, Hulk's track record's proven. He's a gold mine, man. I said, yeah, it sounds good for them. That sounds great. And he went, well, what about you, big guy? Hey, we need you there. And I said, well, Vince, I'm raising my kids by myself, and I don't know, man. He goes, well, don't you think we can work something out? I said, well, if we both want to, I know we can. So, we worked out a structured deal that I was only supposed to work 10 days a month. Of course, the first month I worked 22 days, which was a problem. But, I thought, well, I'll do this because I want, it's all going to smooth out. It's going to be fine. But Hulk, Kevin, and I talked before we went there, and we said, do you really think Vince is going to push something that he didn't create? Do you think Vince is going to push the NWO? Because if he does, that's admitting Eric Bischoff is smarter than him, and he's not going to admit that. And we were right. He could have made tons. He made money with it. He could have made tons of money with it, but he chose not to. He killed it off at the first pay-per-view. So, and I wasn't having fun, and I had problem, I didn't have anyone to stare at my children, and I wasn't having fun. I wasn't having good matches, and I cracked and just self-destructed. I just talked to Ross. Ross said, well, we need to talk about what's going on. I said, how about, I'm done. How about, Ross said, we need to talk about, what's going on. I said, how about I'm done yesterday and I can be in Japan tomorrow if I want. He said, well, is that the way you want? I said, yeah, let's just end it like this before it gets worse. Because I was ready to crack.
When the three of you guys appeared on TV together for the first time at the pay-per-view and you did the promo, did you and Kevin kind of realized that it wasn't going to work with Hogan as a heel because he was so over as a baby face?
Which time? When we went to New York, back from
Yeah,
Vince, you mean?
yeah.
Yeah, it was different then because, well, it was cool because had it been done the way that we would have dreamed it had been done, Vince does stuff way better. You know, Vince could have made the NWO even bigger, but he chose not to. But it just, I mean, like the stuff we did where like when we got to the Rock in Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we beat him up, then we smashed the ambulance stuff. That's the way Vince does stuff, like Hollywood. And we were all going, whoa, this is cool. And that's about the last time we did anything.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, we did a few things leading into the pay-per-view. We were told weeks in advance, Hulk was going to put Rock over, I was going to beat Austin. Then a day or two before the pay-per-view in Toronto, Vince calls me in for a meeting, change the finish. So I remember going, what? Yeah, okay, no problem. You know, in other words, why did you call me? You're wasting my time.
Yeah.
You don't want to do business? In other words, you're a mark. You know, I don't know. I felt that I'd been lied to, and I just wanted it out of there. I was happy I even made it to WrestleMania. Because I told him, I called Vince one time and said, maybe you better put Kev in the ring with Austin and let me stand on the outside. Because I ain't had very good matches with him. You know, I was an unhappy experience.
Why do you think the chemistry wasn't there between you and Austin?
It got better. It got a little better. It just, I don't know. It's just like, I didn't have my best matches with Steve, and I'm sure Steve didn't have his best matches with me. You know, some people you click with, some people you just don't click with it. I'm not blaming Steve at all. He's a super talented guy, super interview. It just, I don't know. I would have liked to have seen Kev work with him and me on the outside and seen what they could have done. But I thought the match we had at Mania was okay, and it was. I laid it out. I called Vince and said, "Send me tapes of Austin. Let me see how he works in big shows, because he starts with his comeback." And you know, I don't know. This is what it was. I don't mean to knock Steve Austin at all. He's a major superstar in our business. I enjoy doing business with him. I was handsomely paid for it. It just, like I said, I didn't have my best match with Steve, and I'm sure Steve would tell you he didn't have his best match with me.
Yeah.
Personally, he treated me like gold.
When Hunter and Sean brought the X back the last time around, there were all kinds of rumors that you and Sean Waltman were going to go and do a feud with them. Was there any truth to that?
Well, it was going to be Kev, too. I mean, to me, it's what the people wanted. There's nobody could have matched up with DX. If people want to do business and make money, of course, that era is all the window of opportunity passed, at least for now.
Yeah.
You know, or for then. I ain't saying it couldn't happen in WrestleMania coming up in my hometown. But, you know, because, too, it's the click. Then you'd have some guys who all think the same. And to me, Kid's the wild card, because he was the only person who was in DX and NWO. So you'd have me and Kev versus, you'd have NWO versus DX, and Kid is the wild card. Don't know which side he's going to go on. To me, that'd be some interesting stuff. And besides it being a cool angle, then we're going to deliver, because the match is going to be out of this world. Because you're going to have four guys who already wrestled each other 1,000,000 times, and we're going to rock it. And it could have been magic, but it didn't happen.
TitleMatchNetwork.com